de lado, tú sabes.
What the fuck? It's okay, that's cool. Puro pum pum. Ahí está bien. Cabe.
We're live, I think.
On the Tiopa!
Live on the 305. You can't see. Let me see. I can't see you over here. There we go.
Oh, I know.
Can't. There you go. There he is. There he is. There he is.
All right, so
What are we
that
talking
one is rolling already.
That one's rolling too.
All
That
right.
one's rolling two. That one's rolling three.
So everybody's rolling here in Miami 305, right, Captain Joe? So what are we going to be talking today, Captain Joe?
All right, what are we talking about? We're talking about how people screw up orals. Let me make sure my mic is on here. Can you hear me okay? All right, how people screw up oral exams. All right, now, how do people screw up oral exams? For some reason, before we go on, let me make sure my microphone's working over here because I don't see any audio, man. Can you guys hear me over here? I think you can. All right, if not, then we'll get some.
Let me check it out.
We'll get some.
Check it out.
We'll get some feedback on that. How do people screw up orals, man? This is the question. How do they do it? Okay, lots of different ways to do it, I think. Let me write some stuff here real quick.
It's because they don't answer correctly.
They don't answer correctly.
That's what it is, actually. That's what it is. They don't give us a full answer. A lot of time when we ask questions, right? For example, right, Gabby?
Yeah.
When you ask questions about pressure, temperature, whatever it is, you have to give us a full answer. All right. So that's one of the reasons.
When you say they don't answer correctly, does that mean literally the answer is wrong, or they phrased it wrong?
They phrase it wrong, I guess, a lot of times.
Yeah.
Right. That's what
they phrased it wrong.
Yeah.
So it's not that the answer was wrong.
Right.
Now, by the way, sometimes that is the case. Sometimes your answer is wrong. And if that's the case, then it's your knowledge. But sometimes it's not your knowledge. It's actually your what? Your.
Hey, look what we got here. Let me introduce you to Miss Charlie. Charlie, you can say hi over here to the people here. How you doing? All right.
That one's going to go to YouTube over there.
Here we go. Charlie.
Yeah.
There we go. We got Charlie. Hey, if you have any question, anything that you want to know about one-step prep, you can call Charlie anytime. All right. 7 days a week, 24 hours.
Oh! 24 hours a day at 2 a.m.
That's it. You can call Charlie.
At 2 a.m.
Charlie's going to be ready.
Mm-hmm.
And good.
So, by the way, what's her email? Shalimar, what is your email, man?
Shalimar.a
At
OneStepPrep.com. There you go.
Okay.
Hello.
Shalimar.a@onestepprep.com. That's SHALLIMAR. Did I spell that right? I think so.
Yes, you did.
.a at onestepprep.com. Ayush says hello. What's up, man? How you doing? All right. So what were we talking about? Orals and how they screw them up.
Yes.
Okay? By the way, if you want to work in person with the oral stuff, get in touch with her.
Yeah.
And May is going to be tough. I don't know if we'll do anything else in May. May's pretty.
Yeah, May's pretty full already. Yeah.
Booked
We
up.
already booked for May.
Yeah.
June.
You never know. June, we're booking for June, man. If you can wait till summertime, look, come down here to Miami. It's midsummer. You go to South Beach, you relax, and then you come over here and you hang out with us. It's a perfect scenario. All right. So how do people screw up the oral? That's what we're looking at. I think Juan said you answer wrong. So what that means, by the way, is maybe not that your answer is wrong,
Right.
But that your phraseology was bad.
That's what it is. Yeah.
So give me an example of that, Juan. Like, let's say I don't know, ask me a question and let me see if I can, or I'll ask you a question.
Well, when you say what is the maximum, temperature for engine start on the 737? What's the maximum EGT for engine start on the 73? Right? 725. 725, and that's the way people answer. 725. 725 what?
And
you see?
Yeah.
That could be Fahrenheit. That could be
Celsius.
That could be PSI.
Kelvin units.
Right? We don't know.
What is it, Shelly? What is it? Celsius, man.
That's it. Yeah. Now, even though a lot of time it makes sense, we know exactly what you're talking about, but it's not the correct answer. It's not the correct way to answer a question. We just want to hear Celsius, PSI, Fahrenheit, whatever it is.
Right.
It sounds more professional.
Right.
Sounds better. It looks good. Sounds good. All this good stuff, right?
What's the maximum classic question? Differential pressure.
Right.
Common answer: 8.65.
Right. That's what everybody says, but we don't know what is 8.65. What's that? Fahrenheit? Are you talking about temperature? You're talking about pressure. You see, PSI.
What is it?
PSI.
Units, man. You got to give the units.
Yeah.
Okay, like units of measurement. This is what we're talking about.
And believe it or not, those little details, believe it or not, those little details the examiner is going to be looking at that stuff. You think, oh well, he might not say anything about it, but you know.
You should emphasize it though too when you say it. Like, oh, what's the max differential pressure? 8.65 psi.
He's going to like that.
Yeah, put a little pause in there.
Yeah,
right? Like 8.65 psi. Woo! You put a little pause there.
And we see this problem in all the recurrence that we do. Every time we ask questions, right? We see this all the time.
Yeah.
People are answering.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's bad phraseology. Okay. So, but let's say your phraseology is good. Let's say you say 8.65 psi. Okay, my phraseology is good. I got that. But then what about the system's knowledge? Like, what are some common areas of weakness? I think probably the first one is
electrical.
Yeah, I think electrics pose a lot of issues.
Electrical, yeah.
Why though? Why is that? If you're watching this, by the way, if you're watching this and electrics is your weakness, and maybe you identify that, post it in comments below. Maybe it's not electrics and it's something else.
It might be flight controls.
Whatever it is.
It could be hydraulics.
It could be hydraulics.
Pneumatics.
Fuel.
Yeah.
Air conditioning. Yeah. I don't know. Post it in comments. We want to know what it is. But moreover, why is it that? So why do you think it's electrics, Juan?
Well, I don't know. People get, they're pretty much scared of the electric system all the time. I guess it's the way the instructor they teach you, or I don't know.
I mean, it's
because it's pretty simple. The way that we teach it here in One Step Prep is very, we go step by step from the beginning all the way until we finish, step by step, very easy.
Yeah.
By the time we finish with you guys, it's going to be, very nice and easy. Right, boss?
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. I think, by the way, I could be totally wrong on this. I think the reason electrics is the largest hang up for people is because it's not tangible. Like, you can't see the electricity.
It's true. It's more like, it's questions. What else?
Like hydraulics is like usually it's more tangible. It's a real fluid, and I don't know if I'm wrong on that, but
pressure and stuff. They can see it.
It's just more real. I think the electricity is kind of more pixie dust. Maybe
it could be more mental. I don't know. Some people they.
Or because actually, too, it's the schematic, depending on the airplane you're trying, it can be kind of complex for you to be able to. Have you guys been in an oral and they're like, draw me the electrical schematic? And you got to draw the whole thing. I don't see that often, by the way.
No, not anymore. Yeah.
And I don't think you need to be able to do that either.
No, you don't have to.
Why would I want to draw the electrical schematic? You got to ask yourself these practical questions too. And by the way, if you're an examiner and you're watching this, you got to ask your students something realistic. Okay, if I'm out flying an airplane and I have an electrical problem,
normally you're going to see a light.
The protocol will take me through what to do. What I'm saying, I guess, is how crucial is it that I know how to map everything identically? Now, by the way, I mean, a little bit would be good. You need to have an idea of where AC transfer buses are, generator buses, right? Maybe the main buses, the DC power sources.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, if you're looking for, but I cut you off the water.
No, but that's true. Yeah. No, it's exactly what you're saying. Another thing is, the electrical, you have a lot of lights on the electrical, but you also have switches. So a lot of time you have to know exactly what's going on when you move a switch. What happened when you move a switch?
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen to any other system just because you move that switch? So
that's a good point. What happens to the system because I moved the switch?
Yeah. So,
or why am I doing what I'm doing?
So that's one of the things that we teach here in One Step Prep, right, John?
Oh yeah.
So normally on the electrical, we start from the bottom or from the beginning, for beginners.
Yeah.
Step by step, little by little. By the time we finish, you're gonna love it. It's gonna be very easy for you guys to understand the electrical, and you're gonna be able to answer all these questions with no problem.
Yeah. What's up, Facebook? How we doing? YouTube over here. Instagram-a-rama, my Twitters and my tweeters. Hey, so bad phraseology. We're going through how people screw up in oral. The first thing we said was bad phraseology. The next thing we talked about was systems that people usually screw up. Electrics is one. What else do you think people tend to screw up?
Air conditioning.
Air conditioning.
Air conditioning, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah, air conditioning. Why air conditioning? I think packs.
Yeah, the packs, the schematic. Once they see that schematic from the air conditioning, people,
Yeah, I think packs are a challenge for people, because what would really be helpful if you can get into a maintenance hangar and actually see what a pack looks like.
Right. Yeah.
Then, by the way, if you're in Miami and you want to do some maintenance,
we can do that for you guys, right? We can take them across the street.
We'll take them across the street. We know all of 36th Street here, so we can run up and down and hang out with you guys for the day and teach you all these different things. But air conditioning packs are one of these things that I think are kind of another mystery, because unfortunately you don't really ever get to see it all unfolded and unraveled. And the other thing with that, is zone temperature and trim air. I think sometimes like trim air stuff maybe is a little bit of a challenge.
The trim air, yes, that's on the NG. Remember, we have the air mix valves on the Classic. Right?
Yeah. What does PAC stand for?
Yeah.
If you know what it stands for.
Oh, here we go. That's a good question.
PACK, or does it stand for anything? It's an
and
acronym.
you only have 1 minute to answer. Don't be looking, don't be Googling now.
Okay. PACK, what does it stand for? It is an acronym for something. All right, check it out. If you know what it is, leave it in the comments section below. All right, moving on. What else? Air conditioning, packs, electrics, bad phraseology. I think before you ever even get to this, in an oral, you will first go through memory items and
limitations. Right?
That's it.
That's
okay.
it. Yeah.
So I think the memory items and the limitations, keep something in mind.
That's another thing. That's another thing. With the limitation, we don't have that much problem, but with the memory items, we do.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing that it says it right there. If you're flying, Boeing or Airbus, whatever it is, it says it. You have to memorize it word by word, exactly the way it is. Now, normally, I would say 85% of the time.
Yeah. Let me hang on a second. Let me grab this.
I would say 85% of the time. Every time we go through oral or we in the oral and we ask these questions, most of you guys never answer, word by word. We understand exactly what you're saying. If the instructor or if the designee or the FA want to give you a hard time, they can, because it says exactly on the book. It says they have to be word by word. So normally that's what we suggest the guys when we start the initial classes. Normally I told them, if you have to memorize it, might as well do it the right way. You see, don't try, don't start inventing stuff. Sometimes they say the throttle, I bring the throttles back and I get the fuel, it doesn't say that in the book,
Stick to what it says.
Yes.
By the way, okay, if your company is giving you some type of, always know where the root of study material comes from. So if you're getting all kinds of little different gouges and guides and all these different things, where is the root of the information? This is what I want you to know. So if it's in the 737, like systems, it's FCOM Volume 2, limitations, FCOM Volume 1. Of course, in the 320, there's all kinds of books scattered everywhere. But the point is, any gouge or study material that you have, where is the root? Because in an oral, when your examiner says, well, where did you get that? Or how do you know that? Or if they start questioning anything like that.
Or find it for me.
Yeah, or find it for me. Now
where can you find it?
I have someone to draw from, right? Captain Orozco, Giovanni, what's up, man? How you doing, brother?
Giovanni.
From Ecuador.
¿Cómo está, Giovanni?
¿Qué dice la gente de Ecuador? What up, man?
Giovanni, si tiene alguna pregunta, throw it right here. Hey, if you have any question, just,
leave them in comments.
Leave it in comments. That's what we're here to answer, any doubts you guys have.
By the way, you can call in 888-7, it's 1-888-778-1441, 888-778-1441. You will be live on camera when you call.
That's it. Hey, si tienen alguna pregunta para mis gente latina, si tienen alguna pregunta, déjenlo, pónganlo. Estamos aquí para contestar, yo y mi persona aquí. Cualquier tipo de duda que tengan. Estamos hablando un poquito de todo, ¿ok? Limitaciones, memory item, de la manera que ustedes responden cuando están en un oral, cómo se debe responder, cuáles son las partes que hemos visto que hay muchos problemas en un oral, ¿cierto, Joe?
Cierto.
All right, so.
Estamos hablando.
Good.
All right, so look, this is the typewriting playbook to success, available at onestepprep.com/store. Pick it up.
Everything you need is right here.
Everything is here, man.
Right here.
Everything on how to pass a ride. Initial recurrent upgrade is right here. How do I know? Because I wrote the book and everything in here is 7+ years training type ratings.
And how can we get that book?
onestepprep.com
Good.
/store.
There we go.
There's a bundle, by the way. Anyway, you'll see it. I want to read something for you out of this really quick.
Go ahead.
Because we're talking about the oral.
So he's going to read it, then you're going to buy it.
Okay. Here's a typical oral profile. We give you a lot of, you notice every day, right? We drop videos every day because there's a lot of stuff there's so much content to put out and we want to make sure we get it all to you. Here's a typical oral profile. I'm just going to read you this really quick. Okay. First, obviously, you're going to introduce yourself, usually provide a description of your flying background. Your examiner will generally ask you how your training has progressed so far, how you're feeling confidence-wise in your training, etc. So you're small talking your way in the oral. Okay. This is Playbook to Success, onestepprep.com/store. Thank you. All right. So now, they're going to go through the application entry. If you're going for, sometimes you guys are doing like an ATP ride, you're doing a type rating with an ATP at the same time. If that's the case, you will need to fill out an IACRA.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to go through the application process. That's like almost a half hour. Anyways.
And a lot of people have problems with those applications. It's not that easy. It's not a big deal, but it has these little questions. Yes.
Yeah, it can be a little bit of a challenge. So, okay, look, the typical, here's what they're trying to answer. Here's what they're trying to answer. have you dedicated time to study, of course. Make certain that you can operate the airplane within the design envelope. This is where your limitations come into play. Can you operate the jet within the design envelope? Okay. Now, they also want to make certain of your level of competence with memory items sufficient to carry out the action should you need to, and not in a calm environment,
right?
But in the real airplane, for real. Like if I sign you off right now, when you go fly the jet tomorrow, when you have an engine fire, could you actually do it? That's kind of the question. And then, of course, remember, memory items limitations coming first. You're warming up and you're building a relationship together as you move into the other section, which the other segment, usually the third segment to any oral, is going to be the systems questions. By the way, if you make a good impression on the first part, which is memory item limitation, then
the rest will be nice and easy, right?
Yeah, it'll just become a discussion. So if you're just joining right now this feed, we're talking about how people screw up in oral. The way people screw up in oral is, number one, they have no knowledge, or they have the knowledge, but the phraseology is bad. You're leaving out things like PSI, degrees Celsius. If I ask you what the max diff pressure is, you're saying 8.65. You're not saying 8.65 PSI.
Right.
And one thing alone, by the way, won't bust it. I mean, what if you just answered all your questions like that? Would that alone bust your oral?
Well,
how bad is it? I don't know.
Well,
I don't know if that alone is going to bust it, but if you start,
it depends what he wants.
Yeah, that's true.
Because actually, when I did my first type, hey, listen to this. This is something quick, yeah. And normally, this is some of the stuff that I told when we do the initial, and I go through this, and this is what happened to me, like, I don't know, 15 years ago, And it was on a 707. So actually, I was going through the oral with the FAA, and I knew that aircraft pretty good, excellent. I knew it like the palm of my hands, But the thing is, every time the FAA used to ask me a question, I used to answer the way we explaining to you guys, Hey, what is the temperature? 98. What is the pressure? 35. So then in the middle of the oral, right there, he just stopped me and he says, hey, listen, I understand, and I know that you know that these aircraft better than me. But if you give me one more answer without PSI, Fahrenheit, whatever it is, I will give you pink slip. So I just learned my lesson from that day on. So guess what? Every time we have you guys here for the initial, this is one of the things that we teach. You need to answer correctly.
Yeah.
Right, Joe?
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
Not a good it sounds more professional, sounds good,
Yeah.
Looks good. So
yeah. How do I pronounce that? Ayush Agarwal. What's up? Hi, how you doing? How are you doing, brother, man? Thanks for tuning into the live chat.
Beautiful. Yeah.
We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, actually, I think our YouTube feed looks a little bit better. If you're watching on Facebook and you go over to YouTube, you'll probably see a lot nicer feed. Anyway, so that's what we're talking about. Also, systems that people tend to have weaknesses, electric
systems.
Yeah, air conditioning and like specifically pack operation.
And the problem is the way they study or the way they actually go through the system in some of these 142 training school. A lot of times when you go to an oral, a lot of people say, well, they might ask you only license switches. Yeah, it is true. They ask you license switches. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, sometimes they might ask you the question in a different way, right? They might give you a scenario. And that's it. If you don't know the system, if you memorize the system, then you're going to be lost.
Yeah,
so that's what happened to a lot of people. I just got that feedback last week. You know?
That goes to show you, like, you don't want to memorize.
Right.
If you just memorize answers, you can't just memorize things because
if
I ask you just directly the way you memorized it, then you're in good shape. But the problem is, what if I ask you in a scenario where
in a different way?
Yeah, you got to think about it now, and now you're kind of like, caught with your pants down, if you will, and you don't want that to happen to you. So how do I not memorize and actually learn the system? By the way, the way we teach is always like that. This is both in person and on video and audio and books and everything. Is always like, we want you to learn and then understand the phraseology so you can get it out. But what we don't want you to do is memorize things. Memorization is not really the way to go for this. Now, some things, there is nothing other than pure memorization, like limitations. Yeah, I mean, limitations.
Or memory items,
Or memory items. It is a memory thing.
There's not much we can do about it.
Systems are a little more dynamic.
Right. Yeah.
So, all right, let's see.
What else we got there?
What else do we have here?
Well, there's a lot of stuff anyway. He's just going through some of the stuff, just a small,
I'm giving you half a page. Oh, here's something I just wanted to tell you real quick. So the memory items and limitations, that portion of your oral, I'm reading out of the playbook here, is what I refer to as the tone setter. So this truly gives your examiner the first impression of either the pilot studied or the pilot did not study.
Right.
Did you put in the effort? Did you, let me see if I wrote it here. basically what he's trying to answer is, did you put in the time to study? Do you respect the opportunity? Did you pay the program justice? Do you respect our passengers? It's not like they're going to come out and say, hey, let me ask you a question, man. Do you respect the opportunity, our passengers, and you know, are you thrilled to be here and you're dedicating your time? They're not going to ask you that, but it's your job to prove to them that that is the case for you, just purely based on how you're answering and stuff like that. So, what else? What are your questions, by the way?
If you have any question, come on, bring it on. That's what we're here. We're here to answer it, to help you out, you know. So if you have any question, bring it.
I'm not going to go into, there's all kinds of other things here I talked about with check ride, but I'll save that for a later video.
But just remember, for the oral, if you're going through your initial or recurrent training, or if your recurrent training is coming up, you know, soon, remember, visit our website. Or remember, always study first, limitation memory items. That's some of the stuff that we're going to be asking first, limitation memory items. Make sure you use your company procedures, okay? Don't try to get some, you know, some of these handout or paperwork from any other company. Make sure you use your company procedures and profiles.
Your company stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Use your company.
That's another thing. Yeah. Sometimes.
Yeah. And when your company does provide you these documents, always, it doesn't matter where you are, where you're flying for, what aircraft you're flying, always understand where the root of the information comes from, so you can trace it back to wherever it is that they extracted the data from.
Right.
All right. Let's see how many days it takes to do 20-hour simulator on Airbus 320 with you, and do you guys go through classes for systems? So 20 hours of simulator training is 5 days. We do 4-hour sessions, unless you want to double up and do 4-hour sessions back to back. Like if you want to do 8 hours a day of training, I don't recommend you do 8 hours of simulator training.
No, that's too much. Yeah,
that's a lot.
4 hours, I think, is
4 hours a day. So you're looking at 5 days basically.
5 days. Plus systems, right?
And plus systems, yeah. So it would be 5 days of systems, 5 days of sims. It's 10 days. Captain Agarwal, am I saying that right? Argawal. Yeah. Captain Argawal, what's going on, man? It's 10 days, brother. It's 5 days of ground school. It's 8 hours a day, and then it's 5 days of 4-hour simulator session events. You know. All right.
Yeah, actually, we'll go through the whole, and the initial will be like an initial. We'll go actually in detail on the systems, huh? The same thing on the sim. So we're going to cover everything. You're going to be doing excellent.
He asked also, by the way, I think, is that your question there? Yeah. Do you have tips about how to learn the memory items? How do you learn the memory items? It's just repetition. Normally I just turn to, normally the way I do, I just buy these flashcards. Yeah. I write it down, and then just go over quicker. Because if you're using an iPad or QRH, whatever it is, then you have to go back and forth. And it's going to take a long time. So normally what I do, I don't know what you do. Normally I buy this flashcard in Home Depot here. Office Depot. One of the depots.
Office Depot here in Miami, and then, I write them down, and then I just go over and over. Just get 3, memorize those 3, then put one more. Yeah. Memorize those 4, then one more.
There you go. So exactly right. I use like a ladder. Right. So like, for example, if we're doing engine fire severe damage, I'll just, and this is a 7-3 memory item, right? Auto throttle lift engage, disengage. Okay. Thrust layer affected, engine confirm close, engine start layer affected, engine confirm cut off. Right. I'll memorize 3. Maybe the memory item has 5, 6, 7 steps. Yeah. Memorize the first 3. Repeat them over and over. Then add on the 4th one, and then go back through the first 3, add the 4th, go back through the first 3, add the 4th. Yeah. Right?
It makes it easier.
Add the 4th. And then once you get 4 of them right, then go to the 5th one, and then you start back on the first one, do the 2nd one, 3rd one, 4th one, 5th one. So you're basically going over and over, but you keep on tacking on items for that particular memory item. You just do that for each and every one. That's what I do. That doesn't mean it's what you should do, but that's what I do, and that's what helps. So hopefully that helps. Yeah. Yes, thanks for the info. Excellent. All right, brother. Well, cool, man. I think if anything else, any other questions, leave them in comments. You can call in 888.
Anybody else? La gente de Ecuador. ¿Tenemos alguna pregunta por ahí? Giovanni.
I think he tuned out, man.
He just tuned out. Yeah. All right. Anybody else in Ecuador? Nobody else?
Okay. Today's about the oral. We're going to do another one about the check ride. By the way, we're intending to do more of these. We've been beyond busy.
Right.
When I tell you we've been wanting to do this every week, but the problem is we've been either teaching, flying, traveling, meetings. We've been not here, and so we've been kind of running around more so than what we would like to be necessarily. But we are intending to blow this thing up more regularly.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. And, any other question? If you have any other question about hiring, also question regarding hiring, let us know. That's why we have this book over here that Joe has.
Yep.
This book includes everything. Interview. Yeah, interview prep.
Interview
Right.
prep.
That's
Yeah.
it.
OneStepPrep.com/interview. OneStepPrep.com/interview.
Excellent. Excellent.
Let me say it one more time. OneStepPrep.com/interview. Everything is there. This is a true story, by the way. I go into interview at my current carrier, and there's probably maybe 7 or 8 other guys there. They're all twice my age. Listen to what I'm telling you. And they all probably have a resume that shows lunar landing. They went to the moon, the stars, and Mars. They flew the Millennium Falcon. They've traveled at light speed. Okay, they have all these things on there. And I go in, and I'm like, I know I'm getting the job. How do I know I'm getting the job? Okay, there's a little secret that you need to be aware of when you go into interview. If you go to OneStepPrep.com/interview, and it's multiple things, by the way, but there's one thing. It all leads back to this one thing. And if I can prove to them this one thing, you will get hired. And we cover it in this program.
And it's in video, right?
It's all on video.
It's all on video. It's excellent.
It's all on
excellent.
video.
You're going to love that. Yeah, you're going to love it. Yeah.
It's all on video.
It's all on video.
We also have segments for audio if you're driving and you want to listen to it.
If you're in the gym working out,
whatever you're doing, cutting your grass,
you can listen to us.
Yeah. All right, and then we give you the ebook too as well. Okay, there's an ebook. It's only 13 pages, easy read, real simple. All right, so check that out as well. Closing comments. Do well, excel, and study, man. That's all I can tell you. Reach out to us if we can help you. We're here all the time.
Initial recurring training.
Yep.
Hiring.
Yep.
Whatever it is.
Yep. Hiring, training, career progression.
Anything that you want to announce? You want to announce anything about the flight attendants? About the flight attendants?
Flight attendants.
What do we got for the flight attendants, Captain Joe?
We got some stuff for the flight attendants. We just put together an A320 recurrent for the flight attendant.
Right.
The interview prep, by the way, is good for you flight attendants. We have a new hire program for the flight attendants as well. The whole flight attendant thing, my sister's a flight attendant, if you didn't know. So we have a lot of great content on this stuff. And by the way, if you are a flight attendant or thinking about being a flight attendant, you're going to be faced with the same thing all the time. Come on in, man. Come on. Initial and recurrent training for the flight attendants. We have the programs. Recurrent is done. Initial, we still don't have the initial done yet. It's almost done.
We're working on it.
Yeah, we're working on it. It's nearly available. Okay, it's all recorded. We just need to get it edited. We need to upload it to the site.
And we got Shelly here. Shelly can, keep you in shape.
Yeah. Shally Fitness coming soon.
Coming soon, right? You have to be in shape in order to get hired by the airlines, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to look good. That's why we have Shelly here.
Okay.
She's gonna keep you trim.
That's it. So that's it. All right, guys. Reach out to us. Send us an email. Call us anytime. Can't wait to work with you.
Good. Woo! Anybody else? Nobody else? That's it.
And
questions.
Feeds, man. Close them down. Shut them down.
Close it. And
end that thing.
End that thing.